Hey everybody, here we are looking at my 125 and we're getting ready to add a fish to it. If you follow along regularly with my videos, you'll know that I had a Bolivian ram added to my office tank, and in that tank I had a rainbow shark, and unfortunately the rainbow shark was getting really aggressive with the ram, and the behavior just continued and continued. And so I was trying to figure out which fish I was going to rehome and where I was going to put it, and so on and so forth. It's the juggling act you have to do when you buy fish impulsively, and you wind up with fish that you don't really have a proper place for. So I decided that I was going to keep the ram in my office tank because I really like the ram. It's just a cool little fish. It's going to be fun to watch, and it's not an aggressive jerk like my rainbow shark is. So I managed to catch the rainbow shark, and that is going to get rehomed into this tank. I'm hoping it won't have any conflict with anybody in the tank. It's entirely possible that the loaches might be something that it has a problem with. I don't think the loaches will bother it, but I think it may bother the loaches. In my experience, the rainbow sharks are sort of like dogs. They don't know how big they are, so if it's a fish that is the right shape and color, they will be aggressive towards it. And usually red-colored fish or long, slender fish that are shaped similarly to them will be fish that they are aggressive with. So the clown loaches may may fit that bill. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I've also got some other plecos in this tank. I've got my chocolate zebra plecos down on the bottom, and they may also be considered part of the territorial disputes that we get into with the red-tail loach. I don't know, but it's a 125-gallon tank, so if this little shark can't find a place to get along in here, then I really don't know where I'll be able to have it get along. So I managed to also catch a bunch of little guppy fry while I was in there, and we're going to go ahead and pour them into this tank too. I'm assuming they will not last very long at all, but they're going to go in there because I really need to do something with all of the enormous amount of fry I'm developing. So let me get this lid open here without knocking my fish over, and then we are going to just go ahead and introduce the shark. I'm not going to pour it in necessarily, but we are going to ease it in pretty quickly. Alright, so let me get the lid closed back down. Alright, now let's stand back and watch the fireworks, as they say. So I honestly don't think we're going to see any fireworks. In fact, I think what we're going to probably see is that shark is going to go down, find a nice little spot to lay low and hide, and we're not going to see it until it starts getting more comfortable and feeling like it can come out and about a little more. Can't tell whether I'm seeing it through there or not. Okay, yeah, I am. I'm seeing it's just kind of laying low against the rock back there. Well, the clown loach has definitely noticed it, but the clown loaches are not aggressive, so I'm not worried about the loach doing anything but being curious. If anything, like I said, I'm more worried about the shark being aggressive towards the loach, which would not end well for the shark. And I have lost fish by them picking fights with fish they really shouldn't have picked fights with, but I have lost fish that way before. If you get a fish that's too aggressive. So I'm not going to keep squatting down like that and trying to look through all of that algae, but I got it on video getting it here into the tank, so we now know that it's here. And now it's just going to be a matter of watching and waiting and seeing if it doesn't cause any issues or problems. I really don't think it's going to. The tenopoma, can't imagine how it's going to be any problem with that. The catfish, again, I just can't see an issue with the catfish. And then as far as the schooling type fish, I just don't see them being an issue either. If the shark decides to chase one of the Congo tetras or one of the rainbow fish, all it's going to do is dash and dart out of the way. They're not the kind of fish that sit in one spot for long periods of time anyway, and so that's not really going to be an issue, I don't think. I did just see the shark swim out and about a little bit, and then he turned around and went right back in. While I'm standing here looking, I notice we've got some new growth coming out on my Anubias right there. Can't tell if that's going to be a new leaf or if it is going to be a flower head. It almost looks like a new leaf, but it looks like something's been nibbling on it. I spray deer repellent for a living, and this time of year I'm seeing all the emergent growth coming up out of the ground, all the daylilies and bulbs and everything, and a lot of them, you know, they've just started to come up, and the deer come down and they nip the top of it off, and so they look like they've been given a haircut. And this actually looks really similar. If you see this end of it here, it looks like something has come along and just nipped the end off of those leaves, or that leaf furl right there. So that's pretty interesting. And no, I will not be spraying deer repellent in my aquarium. Alright, I just saw the shark swim out a little bit again. As far as acclimating it to the water, I use all the same water in all my tanks, unless it's one of my specialty tanks, like one of the brackish tanks. My red claw crab tank has brackish water in it. Of course, my brackish tank that has my puffer in it has brackish water in it. That's why I call it my brackish tank, of course. But all my other tanks just have the same water in it. And other than, you know, varying temperatures by a few degrees this way or that way from tank to tank, they're all similar enough that I really don't have too much of a problem of just swapping fish from one tank to the other. And in fact, the way that fish just got swapped is I did not use tank water in the container I was carrying it in. I actually just put some tap water in a container. So I caught the fish in the net, removed it from my office tank, and put it directly into a container of tap water, and then I brought it down here, set it on the tank, and started shooting video. And while we did the little intro to the video, it basically sat there for what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we put it in the tank. So it went from one water into the tap water and then into this tank water. So it's been in 3 different waters in a matter of 5 minutes. But again, I'm not really worried about that because my water is all basically the same. I don't have any chlorine in it, so I don't have to wait for those kinds of adjustments to be made. I don't have a lot of dissolved solids, so about the only difference you're going to find in tanks from one tank to the next in mine is maybe a slight pH difference, maybe a little bit of, you know, higher or lower amounts of dissolved solids, you know, nitrates, phosphates, stuff like that. But for by and large, you know, water hardness and water chemistry, it's all close enough that I don't have to worry about doing a lot of acclimation. Anyway, there you go. The shark is now in my 125. My Bolivian ram is now going to be able to cruise around the tank peacefully, so hopefully it will start putting some weight on and be a lot less stressed out. Looks like my little princess is coming in to visit us. And on that note, I will say that in this tank I had the 2 Bolivian rams. There was one down there, and I'm not sure where the other one is. It was hiding in the corner, but it was really getting bullied, and I put some floating plants in there, hopefully that, you know, thinking maybe the plants would give it a place to hide. And I've not seen it since. So it's possible that it is hiding up in the plants. It's possible that it is hiding inside that cave, or possibly even in SpongeBob's pineapple there. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I do have the one that is still in there I can see swimming around. And again, that's probably going to wind up going in my 40-gallon Black Ghost knifefish tank. But we'll get to this one at some point here in the very near future. I just wanted to get this on video tonight. So there you go. Make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss any of the updates I got coming up on this tank or anything else. As I just mentioned, I got some stuff going on with the 2 that are in quarantine. I'm treating the tank that they're going to be going in. And, of course, you don't want to miss any of the updates on the tank treatment or anything else. So thanks again. Don't forget, this one is my 125-gallon tank. I'll see you real soon in the next one.